Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to share with you a very emotional and heart-touching love story. Every story here is filled with the feelings, pain and little hope. So please listen till end, and if you like it, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Let's begin with the story.
A beautiful young woman bought a scooter from me. She was a widow and worked in a company. She didn't have the full amount of money, so she gave me half and kept the rest pending. One day that beautiful young woman called me to her home to take the remaining money. When I went to her house, there was no one else, only she and I. She was looking very beautiful, and seeing her awakened an attraction in my heart. I held her delicate hand in mine, and after that something happened. Hello friends, my name is Nikhil. I am 31 years old and I live in the Taluka headquarters. I work in a company. Once it happened that my scooter had become very old, so I thought of selling it. I fixed its price at 35,000 rupees. I had already bought a new vehicle for myself. I posted an advertisement on OLX. Suddenly I received a message, "I like your scooter, I want to buy it." That message was from a woman. Who she was, how she looked, I had no idea. I gave her my number and shortly after, I received a WhatsApp message, "My name is Mansi, I like your scooter, I want to come and see it." I sent her my address and looked at her WhatsApp DP. She was a very beautiful young woman. There was an innocence and charm on her face that instantly appealed to the heart. She messaged me that she would come to see the scooter on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. I immediately agreed and now began waiting eagerly for Sunday. To tell the truth, I was more excited to meet that young woman than to sell the scooter. Sunday came, I woke up early, took a bath, wore nice clothes, and eagerly waited for her arrival. A little later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it and saw, it was the same beautiful young woman, Mansi, whom I had seen in the DP. For a moment, my heart seemed to stop. I invited her inside and offered her a glass of water. She was wearing a light pink sari with a gray blouse. Her hair was left open. Her delicate face, beautiful eyes, and long flowing hair made me keep looking at her. Smiling, I extended my hand and said, "My name is Nikhil." Her delicate hand came into mine, and my heart stirred. She smiled back and said, "My name is Mansi." At that moment, a strange vibration passed through my heart. Then I took her outside and showed her the scooter. I gave her all the details, documents, model, condition of the tires, everything, and even started the scooter for her. Honestly, there was no problem with the scooter. After seeing it, she said, "I really like this, but what's the price?" Calmly I replied, 35,000 rupees. Hearing my answer, the smile faded from her face. In a soft voice she said, "My financial condition is not good, I am a widow." Hearing these words, it was as if a pain rose in my heart. Such a beautiful, delicate, and innocent young woman, and a widow at such a young age. I couldn't believe it. I kept looking at her and thought, God is so unfair to some people. I stayed silent for a while and then softly said, "How is this possible? Looking at you, it doesn't seem at all that you were married and that you could be a widow at this age." Hearing this, her eyes filled with tears. Without words, I could feel her pain. Seeing her condition, I said, "Alright, I will give you the scooter for 30,000 rupees. Hearing this, a bit of relief appeared in her eyes, but she immediately said, "Right now, I don't have that much money, I only have 20,000 rupees. I work in a company, and as soon as I get my next month's salary, I will definitely give you the remaining money." At that time, I realized that this girl was not only beautiful, but her nature also had truth and simplicity. The pain in her eyes and the innocent smile on her face melted my heart. Smiling, I said, "Alright, you take the scooter, pay the rest later. Only, for the transfer in your name, there will be a cost of 1,500 rupees. She softly replied, "Okay, I will manage from what little money I have." At that moment, I felt that my relationship with Mansi was no longer just about selling the scooter, but something deeper was forming. Her honesty and simplicity made a deep impression on me. We decided that in 2 or 3 days, we would find time to transfer the scooter in her name. That day I said, "Come on, let's go to the nearby hotel." We went to the hotel, and I ordered 2 cups of tea. She was sitting in front of me, and I couldn't stop looking at her. Her face glowed with a pink radiance, her lips carried a sweet smile, and her eyes had a certain depth. She truly looked very beautiful. After some time, she smiled and asked me, "Who all live in your house?" I calmly said, "Right now, I live alone. My parents stay in the village. Because of my job, I have to live here." Then I asked her, "And in your house?" Hearing this, her eyes dropped, her voice trembled, and she softly said, "I also live alone." I was surprised to hear this. I asked again, "Really? Looking at you, no one would ever think you are a widow." Then slowly she began telling me about her life. She said, 3 years ago I was married to a young man named Sanjay. We lived in a village. Sanjay worked in a company and had a good salary. But fate had something else in store. Suddenly, due to illness, he passed away. I was left completely alone, broken. Somehow, gathering courage, I got a job in a company. Now I get a salary of 12,000 rupees, and somehow life goes on with that. Hearing her pain, my heart felt heavy with sorrow. At such a tender age, she had to endure such a big loss. Realizing this, tears welled up in my eyes. We both sat silently for some time. Meanwhile, the tea had arrived. We both quietly drank our tea. After finishing, I paid at the counter and we stepped outside. She said, "I will call you after 2 days. Then we will get the scooter transferred in my name, and as soon as I get my salary, I will also give you the remaining money." I nodded with a smile. She started the scooter and rode away swiftly. As she left, I kept watching her figure from behind for a long time. Honestly speaking, she had already made a place in my heart. I returned to my room, but even lying on the bed, thoughts of her kept circling in my mind. I couldn't concentrate on anything else. Her face, her voice, her innocent gaze, all floated before my eyes. From that day onward, our conversation began on WhatsApp. We started sending each other good morning and good night messages. Slowly, the day felt incomplete without her. On Wednesday, she suddenly called me and said, "When should we get the vehicle transferred in my name? I have time, tell me if you are free." I quickly replied, "I am also free. We can do it during lunch break." We both met at the RTO office in the afternoon and completed the transfer process. After it was done, we went to a nearby hotel. She and I sat across from each other. Her eyes seemed to be saying something to me, and I too was looking at her intently. Our eyes met, and for a few moments, the atmosphere became completely silent. Later, we both had a simple meal of misal pav and then said goodbye. But after that farewell, the day simply would not pass without her. Gradually, our bond kept growing deeper. Every day we exchanged messages, and sometimes we would talk late into the night. About 25 days had passed. Suddenly, one evening, I received her call. I answered, and her delicate voice echoed in my ears. She said, "I have received my salary. Will you come home to collect the money?" I thought for a moment and immediately agreed. She sent me her live location. I got on my two-wheeler and reached her house. She was standing at the door, perhaps waiting for me. The moment she saw me, she smiled, and it seemed as if all the fatigue on her face had melted into that smile. She gave me a glass of water and invited me inside. At that moment, only one thought filled my mind: this young woman is not just beautiful, but despite all the sorrows of her life, she is living, struggling, and unknowingly filling the empty space in my life. When I stepped into her house, a different sight came before my eyes. A simple tin roof house, a mat spread on the floor to sit. The shadow of poverty was clearly visible on the walls. I felt very bad inside and thought to myself, how right is it to take money from such a poor, lonely widow? She came back with hot tea and sat in front of me. We sat close together, drinking tea. The pain of loneliness was clearly visible in her eyes, and every word of hers touched my heart. After the tea was over, she went inside and came back with the remaining 2,000 rupees. While placing the money in my hand, her hand trembled slightly. I put the money back into her hand and said, "I don't want this money. You are working so hard to live, you don't have your husband, you are surviving in such poverty. My heart does not agree to take money from you." Hearing this, her eyes filled with tears. She said, "But this is a transaction, it's your rightful money. In today's world, no one leaves even a single rupee, and you are refusing 2,000. I have never seen such an honest and noble man in my life." Hearing this, tears also rolled down my eyes. Suddenly, she held my hand tightly and, looking into my eyes, began to cry. Her tear-streaked face shook my heart deeply. I gently lifted her face and placed my lips on her rosy lips. In that moment, time itself seemed to stop. For a long time, we remained lost in each other's arms, as if in our sorrows and pain, we had found peace in one another. When we finally pulled away from the embrace, I looked into her eyes and said, "Monsi, I like you very much. Being a widow is not a fault. My love for you is true. To tell you the truth, from the first day I saw you, I have considered you mine from my heart. Will you marry me?" She blushed, her cheeks turned red, her eyes met mine, and with a smile she fell back into my arms. That smile and her return into my arms was her yes. A few days later, I took Monsi to meet my parents. By God's grace, they too liked her very much and gave their blessing for our marriage. Slowly, 1.5 months passed. During this time, we kept meeting, kept growing closer, sharing joys and sorrows. Finally, Monsi and I got married. Today, we are living our life very happily. Seeing the smile return to her face and the satisfaction in her eyes makes me feel that I made the right decision. Friends, what do you think? Was I right or wrong in marrying Monsi? Do share your opinion in the comments. A person's beauty, their circumstances, or whether they are a widow or not, these things don't matter. What truly matters is their nature, honesty, and the depth of their heart. Love always gives new life to relationships, makes us forget sorrow, and binds two broken hearts together, giving them a new life. That is why, if we keep selfishness away from relationships and deal with understanding and honesty, life becomes happy. The real lesson is that love is not based on looks, money, or circumstances, but on warmth and trust.
So friends, this was today's emotional love story. If you like this story, please like the video, share it to your friends and subscribe to my channel for more beautiful stories like this. Thank you so much for listening. See you soon in the next stories.